Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there.
Hey guys.
As always, guys, I want to thank everybody for their support over on Patreon. Exclusives going up there each week. We still do have quite a bit to share with you guys. We've just been running crazy, with a lot of different things going on, a lot of actual construction. And we're also getting ready to do a live over at one of Joe's channels, which is going to be this one, Universal Talking. So we do anticipate doing a live over there. We just have to get some things straightened out. And so much going on. By the way, this is the brand new channel, Guiding Light, Lite. So please do subscribe to both. And, guys, it's just craziness because here we go. Another airplane fire. What? Yeah, as you can see, airplane on fire at a Denver airport. Now, the Southwest one pulled in front, but it's an American Airlines plane that was on fire. And then they got people exiting the plane via the wing. As Joe pointed out, that's where they actually stored the fuel. But, I guess they weren't worried about it, and they had to get the people out. So I haven't seen this play out in the past. But then again, I do think that there's an awful lot of incidents with planes going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is the year for that. I mean, we talked about this in other broadcasts, the planes, trains, and automobiles. And, one year it was the trains, and now this year it just seems to be the airplane. So again, it's like, what's the overall agenda for this type of thing? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, I mean, if there were this amount of problems in the past, why wasn't it being reported on? You ask these questions like, is it just all of a sudden this year alone, it's making the front lines?
That's curious because the trains and planes, that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, it makes me wonder, is next year going to be like the automated automobiles and there's going to just be or like regular automobiles, are there going to be a bunch of crashes? But this is something we've seen with the planes coming for quite a while. To me, it does seem like it's ramping up. I don't think it's just about the media, being out there more. I think there's a problem, and I feel this clamp down. They don't really want us to travel. It's very slow, but certain. And right now they want to make people kind of afraid to travel, I feel. And that's part of their battle. People do it themselves. They're like, oh, I don't want to go anywhere because I'm too afraid.
Yeah, in the past, you wouldn't see these. They would hide it. Like, it was almost like the big corporations would almost slide back in the day, $100 bill under and say, listen, don't cover this, hide it. And now it's just front and center. And again, it's just like, what is the agenda here? Because, it doesn't make sense. Like any other time, they would hide all this stuff from us. And, I don't know. I don't know what it is. And, I feel bad for all the people. I'm not saying that none of this is real either, because anytime there's some kind of event, when we cover it, we're not saying that the whole thing is bogus. Like, there may be some truth to it. A lot of times they big these things up for what reason?
Well, I'm, looking at our own struggle here on YT, and when you look at our views, you can see that these videos have not made it out to see anyone new. So when we're not able to reach anyone new, guess what? Things start to dry up. So we have those of you guys who are supporting us, which we are so grateful for. We are so extremely grateful for, but we can't reach anyone new. So it makes us struggle and say, okay, well, what might we have to do besides do this? And we don't want to do that. We want to do what we are doing if it's at all possible, but you can see how that long arm of the control system reaches deep.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was something I read yesterday where they were talking about these different agendas and year numbers, and somebody, I forget, it was one of the doctors, maybe it was Peter McCullough, was saying, don't forget, come 2030, they envision everybody kind of planted, rooted in a spot. Mobility will not be easy. And so, this is perhaps part of that bigger picture ongoing as they again keep us segregated, separated, whether it's ideology, politics. R. Wayne Steiger was doing his usual lives. He's live at noon Central most days during the week. And again, it's coming to the realization here was somebody that was very, very active, in Christianity and strong proponent of, all of a sudden have the realization that, this doesn't jive. And this is what happens when you start deep diving in and you're studying and you realize, wait a minute. If you look at things superficially, everything is okay. When you start delving into it, you start realizing, well, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. How do I figure, how is this supposed to actually make any sense? And this is what we have with everything going on in the bigger scheme of things right now. And people realize, again, it's through politics, it's through religion, it's through, our medical system choices that we are divided and kept apart. They use the very concept of nation states, again, and creating tensions between nation states to keep us from getting together and creating real peace and real prosperity on the planet. This is all, part of that bigger picture. Meanwhile, the manipulation goes on, and, they'll even give you new words for different phenomena that's just simply showing that there's a lot of different frequencies being manipulated all across the planet. Oh, wait, those red lights are just red sprites. That's just a form of light refraction on ice crystals. And this is just, I don't know, maybe it's reflecting the sand patterns under the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, people will buy anything if they are kept busy enough and so busy in their own muck and mire to not look a little bit deeper at what's going on. Again, I think this is all symptomatic of the bigger picture on planet Earth, in which, humanity is kept in an illusion and they don't really see what's going on. And when we look to gold briefly was over 3,000 an ounce. And did hit record territory. Again, it's going up, but then we see that they were talking about revaluating it many, many times where it's at right now and creating, again, a new monetary system. This is the year that the new monetary system will be implemented. It might not be the final monetary system, but it'll be a change from where we have been. So, again, gold has traditionally been the one thing that people can count on, or land, actually having actual property, something tangible, because, again, everything when it comes to the system is really one big illusion. It's an agreed upon illusion. What happens when large portions of the population decide that they don't want to agree with it anymore? Then we're going to have real tumultuous times. And that's really where we're heading. As you see this chart, they say looking ominous. Is there going to be some sort of precipitous crash, or will it actually go through the roof? Again, everybody has to listen to their own intuition there. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick stated that President Trump plans to eliminate federal income taxes for individuals earning under $150,000 a year. Well, we love that idea because we're not over $150,000 a year, not even close. So for us, I would love that. Taxes are one of the biggest stresses imposed on people. And what's his name? Inspired was doing something talking about the straw man and the whole scenario that you don't actually have to. It's all voluntary. Well, there are people that have met with absolute disaster when they try to go that route and say, well, I don't have to. And you'll still have people say, well, you don't have to, and they might not. But then again, maybe they're just simply on just disability, or maybe they don't have any above board income. Each person has a unique scenario, but if you do have assets, they will take them. they will take them and they will put you in jail. And, that's just the fact. As Inspired was saying, I have never seen a case, and he did a lot of research on this, in which somebody defied the system and truly was outside of the system. No, it's going to take everybody waking up and saying, a huge portion are going to have to say, we no longer choose to go along with this system. We want something else. We don't recognize the borders, because you can say, again, when you look at all these borders are always changing. Look at the borders around what we call Ukraine and Israel. I mean, both of those countries 100 years ago didn't exist as they are, and yet the whole world is on the end of, at the brink of such a conflagration because of the borders of these two countries. Well, again, it's because they were created for this express purpose at this time. They were created to be the thorn in the side of the planet and humanity, to bring about the changes we're witnessing right now, to install an even more tighter lockdown financial system that people won't be able to escape from. This is exactly what the system does. And we get promises, but does anything ever really get delivered on when we look at it? A cynical person would say no.
Yeah, I've found myself over the past couple years specifically becoming more and more cynical, and inherently I'm a more positive person, and I try to put out love and light, and I've gone both routes, where I was really deep entrenched in the 3D, as we call it, the physical, and you get your life together, the American dream type thing, you get the house and all that stuff. And then I was at a point where I was like, oh, hell with that. I'm going to go all airy-fairy, and, you're out there loving light, and, and the next thing you know, it's what you find out is that you have to be in balance. You have to be, because we are multidimensional. We're not just 3D. We're not just 5D or higher. We're everything. And so while we're physically here in this form, in this dimension, you gotta really blend it and balance it, because I've been on both sides of that spectrum, and both times I was completely out of balance, and you can't really function. Like, even though you're in the right and you're talking the truth about things, in physicality you still have to eat, and you still have to take care of yourself. And when you check out of this thing, you can ask anybody that's had a near-death experience. There is no time, for one, and there's a lightness, like and within a thought. Like, what is you? And I'm talking, ask any question. Within the thought, before you even finish the question, you have the answer. Whereas on this side of what many people call the veil, it's a struggle to find those answers. And what's interesting is, I think there were guidebooks put forth, written out for us to kind of follow, to kind of help us, edge us along in getting to that ultimate truth. But what if the deception is so deep that, even as we're talking about airplanes and, north, south, east, and west, what if the just the compass alone, if you pictured the compass, north, south, east, and west, what if east and west, what if you just took the W and the E and you flipped them? And because if you look in the books and it says it comes from the east, well, where I'm from, the northeast of Pennsylvania, everything seems to flow from the west towards the east as far as the weather and different things. And, due to what we believe is gravity, is everything's heading south, and the electromagnetics of everything. What if just by switching those two letters and believing now all of a sudden, like, well, heck, maybe west is east and east is west, what would that do to how we read the books, like the Bible or the ancient text and the scrolls and all that? Just that one thing could really screw up how we perceive things, and we're actually backwards in our thinking, and maps are upside down and vice versa. So I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying what if? Maybe look into that and start looking at things from a different perspective and kind of flip the script on everything you've ever learned and go, oh, I finally got the truth of this because all I had to do is change this one little thing.
You know, I look at it and I look at our belief system that they have given us since we were small children. That's something that they utilize to keep us going so that, you know, like Joe is saying, we don't even question to flip the script. We're just ingrained in us, okay, this is the way things are, but maybe they're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, it's thinking out of the box, which humanity has been conditioned to not think out of the box. And, you know, what Joe was saying, what if there's technology out there that could literally flip the switch and then, you know, north is south and south is north? Technology. Instead of waiting for things that are coming in a natural manner. And again, everything that they've given us of these natural laws is ultimately coming from the same system that is selling us every day on every single one of their concepts. So, you know, something doesn't add up on planet Earth, and a lot of people are figuring that out. And a lot of people are heading for higher ground in case of, you know, all sorts of catastrophes and, you know, pole shift, et cetera, et cetera. But again, it's so important to root ourselves, ground ourselves in a spiritual practice. Again, detoxify as much as possible, you know, and eat as organic as you possibly can. Again, there's people that will look for any excuse to not eat organic or to not even eat healthy with their rationalizations, but it can be done. It absolutely can be done. You know, again, when there's a will, there is a way. And it's just a matter of coming to the conclusion that do you really have a will for true change if it makes you uncomfortable? And that's what a lot of humans just don't have, is the will for change when it makes them too uncomfortable.
Well, for me, it was more of a have to. So, you know, I extend that to everyone. People usually don't change unless they absolutely have to. And I know some people who are in a line of work and they say, you know, if I even consider the things that you're talking about, I would have to change my job. And they're simply not ready to do that. But they know inside, deep inside, that things are not right.
Well, it looks like this dog here, he changed something. He changed his species just by the purpose of identifying as a kitty cat. And he's like, look, I'm a kitty. And yes, I belong here.
He's a cutie. He's going to love on that kitty, even if he's too big for the thing.
As always, guys, we look forward to your comments. Please do share, share and subscribe. Help us support the awakening. Again, this is a long marathon that we're in. So, as always, guys, much love.
Hold on one moment. We just want to remind people.
Oh, yeah. So, we're going to be working on the live here. I'm not sure exactly what time we'll post it on all the social media, but I would like to interview Mike and Cindy on my YouTube page, Universal Talking. And we're going to be talking about the full moon and what we can be doing during those times, how it affects the human species, and just on and on and on. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to do this. This is something that I used to do. You know, I used to do the Universal Talk radio show, and I miss it, and it's inspiring. And a lot of people love it. And a lot of people really seem to love these lives, that they can communicate back and forth with one another. So, yeah, I'm excited to launch that here later this afternoon, this evening. And we'll get the technical difficulties sorted, and we'll see you there.
Yes, and we're really excited to do this with Joe. He's interviewed some pretty fun people, so it's going to be fun. And he's getting his toes wet again. Let's support him.
Absolutely. Probably more like around 6 or 7 tonight, I would think, because we have a full schedule of clients. So we look forward to it, guys. Thank you so much for your support.
Source bless. Namaste.
Namaste.